Hello and welcome back. In this video I will show you step by step how to set up bWAPP on Ubuntu. So, without further ado, let's get to it. The first thing that we need to do is download bWAPP. So you just need to insert on Google bWAPP download and then you click here. As you can see, we have our downloads here, so you just click here, download latest version, continue to download, Okay, as you can see, we have downloaded our bWAPP. So let's see where it is. I think it's on our downloads directory, ls, and here we have it. But now we should create a new directory called bWAPP to move this file here to that directory. Let's do that on our home directory. Make dir, and this is make directory. The name of the directory, I will call it bWAPP. Enter ls, and as you can see, the directory that we just created, it's here. Now we just need to move this file, that was the file that we downloaded just now, to inside of bWAPP. To do that, you just need to insert the command move, and now you need to insert the path to the file that you want to move. In this case, it's the path to downloads and then the file. If you don't know the path, you can just insert pwd and you can see the current path where you are. Now, you know that your file is on your downloads directory, so you just need to insert this path, then the downloads directory, and then the name of the file. So, move, this is where you are. Then, you know that after 𝒐𝒏𝒈, in my case, of course, you will have it bWAPP, desktop, documents, downloads, etc. But we know that our file is in the directory downloads. So you just need to insert that name here. And then you know that inside of downloads, you have the file. So you just copy the name of the file and you insert it here. Now insert a space, and now you just need to insert to where you want the file moved to. So we want the file moved to bWAPP. So once again, we insert this path and you just need to insert this name because it's where you want to the file be moved to. Okay? You click enter, and if you change directories to bWAPP, so cd bWAPP, and list everything inside of bWAPP, you will see that your file is here. As you can see, the file is zipped, so we will not have access to the contents of the file unless you unzip it. To do that, you just need to insert the command unzip and then the name of the file. In this case, bWAPP v2.2, etc. As you can see, we have all of these files inside of our zipped file. And if you do ls, you will see that you could extract everything inside of this zipped file to the outside. We can remove our zipped file, enter, and if you do ls, you will see that you do not have your zipped file there. So let's list everything once again. Now let's change directories to inside of bWAPP, cd bWAPP, and if we list the contents of this directory with ls, you will see that we have a lot of files and other folders, and we need to give permissions to some of these folders. So let's begin by giving permissions to the passwords folder. To do that, we will use the command chmod, and this command is used to change the access permissions. Then 777, and this will give permissions so everyone can read, write, and execute the file or folder that we specify, of course. In this case, it will be the passwords folder, okay? So passwords, and we do the same, but this time to the images folder. and you do this once more to the documents folder. Now we just need to install MySQL because that's the database that the creators of bWAPP are using. But first let's verify if it's installed with the following command: MySQL-V. So as you can see, I don't have MySQL installed, so I need to install it. To do that, you just need to insert the following command: sudo apt install MySQL-server. You need to insert your password, yes. And now we have MySQL. Now, for those who already had MySQL installed and for those who just installed it, we need to put MySQL running in order to use it. So let's do it with the following command: sudo service MySQL start. Now let's check if MySQL has started with the following command: sudo systemctl status MySQL. This will see if MySQL has started. And as you can see, our SQL is active and running. So it's all good. Let's move on. Now we need to do some tweaks inside of our MySQL console. So to use MySQL, insert the command sudo MySQL. Enter, and as you can see, we are using MySQL here. Now let's create a user and a password. I will create a user called user and create a password that's password, but you can use any username and password that you want. But I advise you to don't use personal passwords. Okay, let's do this with the following commands: create user. I will call it user. You can give it other name, of course, at localhost identified by, and then you insert the password that you want. I will insert password. And as you can see, we just created a user called user and as password, password. I hope I'm making sense, okay? Don't forget this because you will need it later. But for now, let's move on and grant to the user all the privileges when he uses the database. So we can use the following command to do that: grant all privileges on bWAPP 2. And now I will insert the username that I inserted here. In my case, it's user. You insert the one that you created at localhost. You click enter. And as you can see, we just granted all privileges to our user. Now we are done with MySQL, so you just can insert exit to exit MySQL console. Now let's check if we have PHP installed, and for that we just need to use the command php-m. As you can see, I don't have PHP installed, so I need to install it, and for that we just need to insert sudo apt install php 8.1, enter. Yes. Let me just tell you that we need PHP because PHP is a language that helps websites do all sorts of things, like showing different pages to different people, sending emails, and saving or getting information from databases. As you can see, our installation was successful. Now we just need to check if we have MySQLi installed with the command php-m pipe grep MySQLi. You click enter, and if you have this here, if this was printed, it means that you have already MySQLi. If you insert the command and there is nothing printed between these two lines, it means that you don't have MySQLi, and if you insert php-m, you will see that this extension, so MySQLi extension, does not exist inside of this list. This means that you need to install it. To install MySQLi, you just need to use the following command: sudo apt install php-m MySQLi. Then you click enter. I will not click enter because I already have MySQLi. Let me just tell you that MySQLi is an extension in PHP to enable communication between your PHP scripts and MySQL databases. Now we just need to change to the directory admin, and we need to alter some information in the settings.php file. To do that, I will just use gedit. It's a text editor, and the name of the file that I want to change, settings.php, enter. And here, inside of this file, I will change the DB username and the DB password. Remember that previously we created a user on MySQL, so you need to change this username for the one that you created. In my case was user, and you need to add the password that you created as well. In my case was password, and now you just need to save it, Ctrl S, and then you just need to move to the previous directory. cd dot. We now can run the command php -S localhost :8080. Let me just explain that here the PHP is a program that can understand and run PHP code. The switch $S is an option that tells PHP to start a mini website server, and the localhost :8080 just means that your computer, aka localhost, is going to act like a website, and it's going to listen for visitors on a specific port, in this case the port 8080. When you run this command on your terminal, you are setting up a little website on your own computer. Now you can just click enter and go to Firefox. Let me just put the terminal here. And here on Firefox you can insert the following URL. You click enter. Okay. Now we just need to install our database bWAPP, and by clicking here our DB will be created and populated. I will show you the before and the after. You go to MySQL console and you insert the command show databases. You click enter. You will see that we don't have any database called bWAPP. If you click here to install and you go back to MySQL, you will see that we now have a new database called bWAPP. So you click here. Now you enter once again show databases. Here on our terminal we have some information that tells us why the bWAPP database wasn't installed, and as you can see it's because we have an uncaught exception error on the code of the file install.php. So just for you to know, an uncaught exception occurs when your code encounters a problem or an unexpected situation, but it doesn't have any instructions on how to handle that problem. So to solve this problem, you need to add code to catch and handle exceptions in your program. So to solve this problem, I searched on Google how to caught exceptions on PHP, and I saw that the solution to this problem was by using the code block try-catch. So that's what we are going to use, okay? Let me just tell you one more thing. The uncaught exception error can be found on line 40, okay? So let's open and edit our install.php file. I will use the gedit application. Okay, and here we have our code. Okay, let's go to line 40 and see what's the error there. Okay, I can see that this PHP code is old, and nowadays this PHP code would have some things different. For instance, in this old code, here on line 40, the MySQLi extension will try to see if the database bWAPP exists, so she will make a question like, does this database exist? And the answer would be a boolean. If the database does not exist, the answer to the question would be true, and the code would create a database, as you can see. So if it's true, it will create a database. If the database exists, the answer to the question would be false. and the code would move on and do the next thing, that in this case it's the else. I will show you. It would move on and do the else, okay? In other words, the code would print a message bWAPP already exists, as you can see here. But this would happen with the old version of the MySQLi extension. Now the extension MySQLi has been updated, and when this extension asks the question, does this database exist? If the answer is no, this database does not exist, the extension will tell us that we have an uncaught exception, and then because we didn't give her a solution, the code dies and does not execute any of the code below while we do not solve this problem. I hope I'm making sense, but if you have any questions, leave those questions in the commentary section down below, okay? So, as I told you before, I searched on Google how to caught exceptions in PHP, and the solution found is by using the code block try catch. I already solved this problem, so I will copy-paste the changes to this file here. But if you want to know more about why I did all these changes, please leave a comment and I will answer your questions. Let's do those changes. Now we save it and we will try to install our bWAPP database, okay? Let's see here and click here to install. Now let's see on MySQL console if our bWAPP database was added to our database. So we just need to use the command show databases, and as you can see, we could solve the problem and add our bWAPP databases to our MySQL database. Now bWAPP is ready for use, and if you want to have some fun, you can do it by going to the login page and use the default credentials that you can find in the file install.txt. I will show you. Let's change directories to the previous directory, so to this one here. And now list all the things inside of it. And as you can see, we have here a file. Let's open it. We have here the default credentials, and you can use these default credentials to log in. We have B, and password we have bug. Okay, now you just do login, and you are ready to discover and to prevent web vulnerabilities here in bWAPP. That's it, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you found this video insightful and valuable. If you enjoy what you saw, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired and keep exploring. Bye bye!